Hello, everybody. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? And can you see me? I believe you can, but please say hello in the chat box wherever you are watching today and confirm that you can hear me and that you can see me. Also, just say hello. First and foremost, welcome to today's All-Star session with Swoosh English. My name is Scott. I'm an OET teacher at Swoosh English and the managing director. I can't wait to get stuck into today's session and hope you are all well. First and foremost, thanks a lot for checking in today, wherever you are in the world, whatever time it is, whatever country you are from. We're here to give you a great session today. So hello to everyone who is coming across from YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and other platforms. Please do say hello. I'm going to bring a few comments on screen. Hello, DJ from Zambia is checking in today. We have Roya has said hello too. We have Diana has said hello. And we have Sovereign who has also said hello. So bring in the comments, guys. Make this nice and interactive. We're going to have a really, really fun session today. So let's get stuck in to today's session. We are going to do a session on speaking as part of the OET All-Stars classes. All right, guys. So I just make sure my screen, I'm going a bit too fast here, shall we say. Let's go back. So guys, the lesson aims today are to speak about speaking. It is a session on fantastic fluency. So we're going to go through some tips for how to get you guys to speak as fluently and coherently as possible for your OET exam. There is going to be a live OET roleplay in today's session as well. More on that to come, with chances for you to practice your OET speaking in live and get some feedback from myself. And of course, even if you don't get a chance to do an OET roleplay today, there are hundreds of you in this session today. I unfortunately won't get a chance to do everyone, but there's still benefit in you listening to feedback from others and taking that on board for your own OET feedback itself, plus a few more things. So before I go on to the next slide, guys, get your phone out. And if you have a QR reader on your phone, aka a barcode reader, please open that up. I got something special I would like to show you. So not only do we do these live OET All-Star sessions every month, but we actually run a free OET Masterclass every Friday. Yes, that's right. A free OET Masterclass every Friday at 11 a.m. UK time, but you can watch it back another time. So if you're looking for more tips on speaking, reading, writing, listening for OET, as well as mindset, preparation tips, how to pass first time, then join our free OET Masterclass. How can you do that? Well, there's two things that you can do to join. First and foremost is there will be a code, there will be a link that's coming into the chat boxes, guys, wherever you are watching on Facebook, YouTube, on the Swoosh English channels, or the OET channels where you might be watching as well. There is a link coming in. So click on that link. Now, you might not be able to see that link for whatever reason. I don't control the channels, unfortunately. That's why I'm asking you to get your phone out and scan that barcode. So if you get your phone out, scan the barcode with your QR reader, it will bring up a link for you. Click in that link and it will take you to the registration page for our free OET Masterclass. Guys, come and see me in these masterclasses. Get even more free preparation tips for your OET exam at 11 a.m. GMT every Friday, but you can watch the replay back at any time. You still need to register to get access to that replay. So I can't wait to have you guys in those sessions and take advantage of more OET preparation tips. I'll just leave that code on the screen for a few seconds, give you a chance to get your phone out, scan the barcode with your QR reader, go to the registration page, input your email, input your first name, and you are ready to rock for the sessions. Okay, I'll move on with the session, guys, but the code will appear later on if you missed it this time. Don't worry about that. Okay, guys, so let's get stuck in to the session. The first question I have for everyone today is really a bit about you guys. I want this session to be nice and fun and interactive. So first and foremost, let me know in the chat box, when do you plan to take your OET exam? Let me know in the chat box, when do you plan to take your OET exam? Maybe you're taking it this weekend. If so, I wish you the best of luck for your exam. Maybe you're taking it next week or in 2 weeks' time or a month's time, 2 months' time, whatever it is, let me know, please. And also you might not have booked your OET exam at this point, and that's fine. Ultimately, I recommend that and only take the exam when you are ready to pass. So let me know. And we've got Allah has joined and said July 8th. So you've got just over a month for preparation, Allah. I hope that your preparation is going really well. And Shalini has said June 10th. So you've got about a week of preparation, Shalini. So I'm guessing that's why you're in the session today, is to get some last minute tips, tricks, and preparation for your OET exam. And everyone else is saying July, June, August. Some people are saying they haven't joined yet. That's fine. One more I'll bring up. Diana has said August 19th. So Diana, you got a good amount of time for preparing for your exam. 2 months and a bit. Fantastic. Okay, guys, thank you very much for that. So my main point for this is, regardless of when you're taking your exam, make sure that you are properly prepared before you begin. Okay. So next question and next slide is, I want to hear a bit more about why you're doing this. What you want to achieve. What's your goal? What do you want in life? And obviously OET is a part of your process of moving and living and studying and working overseas. So let me know what your dream is when you've passed your OET exam and you've done everything else. What do you want to do at the end of your journey? Let me know in the chat box, please. Comment in the chat. What is your dream once you have passed the OET exam? It might be obviously getting a job in the country of your choice, UK, Ireland, Australia, USA, whatever it might be. It might be a salary increase. It might be continued professional development in a healthcare career. It might be the chance to see friends and family overseas. Whatever it is, let me know in the chat box, guys. I really love hearing what everyone wants to do. Diana has said to practice my nursing career in the UK. Fantastic, Diana. Keep that in mind as you're going through your OET preparation. Keep that goal that you have at the end of the process in mind, when things obviously might get tough with preparation, because it is a skill at the end of the day and there is stress involved with taking an exam. So we want to make sure that the stress is minimized as much as possible, also remembering your why. Why are you doing this, etc. Okay. A few other people have said GMC registration, wants to work in Ireland as a doctor, teaching ESL classes. Fantastic. So we have candidates that want to become OET teachers. Very good. And a few other comments coming in, which I can't show because they're on different channels, but that's all good, guys. Once again, as I said to Diana, keep your why in mind throughout this entire preparation journey. It will keep you motivated to keep going. Okay, so guys, let's get into the session. Thank you for your comments, by the way. But we're going to look now at 5 top tips for fantastic fluency to help you guys out with your OET preparation. So first and foremost, let's have a look at the fluency criterion. So it's very important to realize that we need to know exactly what fluency is, so that we know how to speak to score us highly in that section. The fluency criterion for OET says fluency is the impact of the speed and smoothness of your speech on your listener's understanding. And the reason why I'm mentioning this today is because there's often a misconception around speaking that it's all about your speed. I must speak quickly. I must speak like a native English speaker, like Scott from Ireland. He speaks really quickly. I need to speak like him. However, what happens when we speak too quickly, especially if we're non-native English speakers and we're learning English, is our speed will naturally become a little bit more rushed if we're trying to speak. And because you're learning the skills and abilities to be able to fluently speak, aka get the language out, while we're speaking rapidly, we can make more errors and make more mistakes, have more hesitation. So our smoothness might be impacted. So guys, it's all about trying to find that balance of speed and smoothness. And we'll go into that in the next couple of tips. Please keep that in mind. Bonus tip, don't try and speak as quickly as you can. What I often recommend is speak at a speed that's about 70% the speed that you would speak in your native language. Apply that to English. That will usually be fast enough, and will also give you a chance to, well, it'll put you in the best position to make as little error as possible. Now, errors are fine, by the way. I'll go into more in that a bit more detail soon. But we want to minimize our errors while also speaking quickly now. So think about that 70% rule when we're speaking for the exam. Okay, so tip number one, what I recommend is that you start the role play effectively. We want to get the role play off to a really good start because it's important in those early seconds that we really feel like we're in control of the session. That's why I've written down here. It can make us feel in control. It will also help us sell any anxiety and nerves that affect our fluency as well. We want to get that role play off to a really good start and come in confident from the beginning. So think about a way that you can begin the role play effectively and confidently. Remember, as the healthcare professional, it's usually up to you to lead the role play. So, what I just recommend is greet your patient as is appropriate. Ask for their name, ask how they're feeling, make a little bit of friendly small talk. For example, hello there, Scott. Nice to see you. My name is Dr. So and so. Thank you for seeing me today. How are you feeling? How is everything with you? How can I help you today? Start the role play effectively and competently. Of course, you might need to change that depending on the context of the role play, but get off to a strong, confident start and make sure you practice those starts a lot so that you get off to a really good start. It will make the rest of the role play follow much more smoothly if you get off to a really good start. Okay. Tip number two, as I was saying, is it's important to speak slowly for OET speaking, but also not too slowly, nor too quickly either. Why do we do this? Well, first and foremost, it can help us feel in control. If you think about anything that you do in life, if it's English or your native language, when we speak really quickly, it makes us feel more anxious, makes us feel more hurried, makes us feel less confident. So we're controlling our rate of speech. It helps us feel much more confident. That's what you want for the exam. It also reduces the likelihood of repetition, hesitation, and self correction errors. Repetition being when you repeat a word. So, for example, I repeat a word. Hesitation, the ers, the as, the hums, and the self correction errors. So, for example, I had gone to, I had been, I gone to, something like that. Okay. So, they're okay, those errors. It's not the end of the world if you make them, but we want to reduce them as well because they are simply in the linguistic criteria. And simply, if we speak slightly slower, it makes us feel more confident and allows us more time to think and get the right language out. Finally, it also results in better structured delivery, improving your cohesion. If we make less errors, our sentences are linked better together and we piece them better together as well. And it just makes everything flow a bit more. So, as I said, roughly around 70% of your speaking speed in your native language for the OET exam, doing your role plays, will be a pretty good indicator of a speaking speed that you should use. So put it into practice, guys. Don't rush, breathe, keep it nice and slow, keep it nice and calm for yourselves. Okay, tip number three is guess what? You will make errors. You need to be confident when you're doing the OET exam that you will make mistakes and everything won't be perfect. Okay. So my main tip here is to not panic if you do in fact make a small error because it will happen. As I said here, you will likely do this. Not you will likely, you will do this. Okay? So say for example, you make a grammatical error, you use the wrong word in terms of vocabulary, etc. You make a mistake in understanding the point. Whatever it is, if you can, quickly self-correct. But if you can't, don't linger on it, move on. Keep speaking, as it is much more important for you to continue with the delivery of your information and keep the role play flowing so you cover all of the points within the 5-minute time periods. If you delay and hang around and analyze a mistake too much, it's taking away from your ability to score really effectively in the other areas that you're being scored upon. So, long story short, you will make mistakes. If you can very quickly correct it, do. But if you can't and you're focusing on it and you're thinking about it, move on to the next steps of the role play. It is much better that you do that than linger on a mistake. Got it? Okay. I know we can be perfectionists sometimes, but for the OET, Please don't. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be your best. Okay. Now, tip 4 I have is it's really important for you to use discourse markers and other organization devices effectively. Now, there's a whole series of lessons at Swoosh English on using discourse markers and other organizations devices, sorry. See, even I make mistakes sometimes, effectively. Okay. But let's just speak today about why we should use them. Well, as you know, in your OET role play, you have 5 minutes to speak and you have various points to cover, and you're speaking to someone else. So you'll be answering questions, you'll be asking questions, you'll be segueing into other pieces of the role play. Using this discourse markers will simply make your speech more natural and accessible. It will also help you organize your points and delivery to result in less hesitation and mistakes, which is ultimately what we want to avoid. And it also results in better patient understanding, aka the patient will be able to follow what you're discussing in the role play more effectively. So the message that you're trying to put across is more than likely going to be the message that is received by the patient. So not just an OET, for the exam, but think about your everyday healthcare jobs that you're doing. You want to ensure that you are communicating effectively. Okay. So let's just put this into an example here. So let's read these two examples, guys. Which one do you think is better? All right. Number one, for example, we have, yes, I recommend that you have surgery. It will take a long time to recover. Or number two, well, yes, surgery is my recommended option. However, do bear in mind that there will likely be an extended recovery time. So give me your answers in the chat box, guys. Which of these examples do you think is better for your OET delivery? Number one or number two? And also, if you can, give us a quick reason why in a few words, why you think either number one or number two is better as well, guys. So throw your comments in. Which is better for OET, one or two? And you're, of course, all saying number two. Give us a reason why as well. I'm sure you'll have a similar answer to me. Number two is better because it's all one long, suitably complicated sentence. Okay. And we use discourse markers like however to link our language together. And we use phrases to help for understanding, such as do bear in mind, aka we're putting emphasis on this. There will very likely be an extended recovery time. So not only is the use of the passive here and more complicated sentence structures and vocabulary use, but we've also used various discourse markers and other organizational devices too. And as Allah has just also said, I'm going to bring that comment on the screen. It's also helped to assure the patient as well that we have their back. So that's also important as a side point as well. So the main point is that don't make it overcomplicated, but ensure that we are getting our message across in the most effective way possible. Learn your discourse markers, learn how to use them effectively in the OET context. As I said, we've got a whole series of lessons on that. They will help your speaking much better than not using them. Okay, thank you for that. Now, let's go the other way, not backwards. On to tip number 5. And that is to take control of the pause. Okay, I just did it there myself. Why do we pause? Well, first and foremost, we should pause to emphasize key information and its importance. So we can pause either at the beginning of a sentence, before a new clause, before a certain word, and after a certain word to place that emphasis on that key word. It just allows the recipient of the message to receive that information a little bit better. So a short pause is important. But more importantly for you, like tip number 2, if used effectively, the pause can help you feel in control and can result in less errors. So don't be afraid to pause mid-sentence, linger on a word after a sentence to help yourself feel more in control. It will also give room for the listener to process that information as well. So we can use this in the OET role plays very effectively, help you combat any anxiety and nerves that you have, and will help you structure and think about your next point of delivery a bit more as well. So once again, practice it, take control of it, and get feedback on how you are utilizing it well. All right. Hopefully you enjoyed those tips. So, right, I'm going to read a section here. I'm going to tell you which one you think is better, number one or number two. Think of my delivery. So here we go. Number one. I can assure you it's very stressful because it's your first time, but I would like to assure you that you will get used to it and you will know how to do it then. In time, it will become natural and you can do it easily. So just try now, and I will try with you this time, and then you will know how to do it yourself. But I would like to assure you that it's straightforward and easy. Number one. Number two. So I can assure you it's very stressful because it's your first time. But I would like to assure you that you will get used to it and then you will know how to do it. In time, it will become natural and you can do it easily. So just try now, and I will try with you this time, and then you will know how to do it yourself. But I would like to assure you that it's straightforward and easy. So, which of those two deliveries do you think was better in terms of how we delivered it, how we controlled ourselves, and how the listener would have actually picked up on that information? So, I've actually deliberately included an example which might not be the best in terms of its structure and its complexity, and it does have a few repetition errors in it to demonstrate that we are human at the end of the day. But which one do you think was better in terms of its delivery? And the answers are coming in. You're all saying number two. Why was number two better? Well, we felt more in control. We spoke at an appropriate speed for ourselves to feel in control, and it would have been much easier for the recipient to understand what I was saying. That's why. So, from my experience of being an OET speaking interlocutor and OET speaking assessor, is that we tend to speak very quickly when we're under pressure. I know I do. So we got to try and be mindful of that and think about that before we actually do the exam. So be mindful of your speaking speed, slow it down, and emphasize that pause. So, one, we feel in control. And two, we are more than likely going to get that message across to the recipient better, which makes for a more effective role play and makes us more effective in our roles as well as actual nurses, doctors, and other healthcare practitioners. Okay? So take control of that pause, guys. Now, here's a few bonus tips before we get into our session today, and that is to overcome test day nerves. One of the big reasons for our lack, as I said, our fluency and our speaking speed and our nerves is because we feel nervous in test day. So it's really important that before you get into the test day and begin your speaking role play, we've done all that we can to feel as confident as we can on the test day. So just a few simple tips for that is firstly, make sure that you're preparing effectively, guys, well in advance of your exam date. Don't book your exam until you are ready, and you'll know you're ready because you will have done the exam in advance with a test prep provider who will have given you scores in advance. Make sure your course doing plenty of mock speaking practice, but also I'm going to emphasize this word, with feedback. If you're speaking, great, it's helping you practice your skills, but you want to get that feedback to ensure that you're actually scoring as well as you can, or as you should do on the day of your exam. Only take the test when you are ready. Kind of going on point number one, but there's no point in taking the test if you don't feel ready or you don't know that you're able to pass. It's risky and can be very costly if you don't pass. Also, do not cram before the exam. I know I used to do this when I was at school. It was a very ineffective test preparation strategy, but study in advance and make it manageable in chunks over time. Do not cram, especially the night before the exam. You want to be able to get a good night's sleep and switch off, but also try and not ram your preparation into a few days or a week or something like that. It usually will take longer. Study in as long as in advance as possible. And as I said, do not cram before the exam because you're not necessarily going to learn everything the night before the exam. That should have happened over time. And you want to be able to relax, get a good night's sleep, and go into the exam feeling confident and ready. If we're cramming, we're not sleeping well, it just affects our performance on the test day negatively. And finally, just remember to imagine what it feels like to pass this exam. Okay, that's your why. Why you're doing this what it will feel like when you pass, and what that will mean for you in your healthcare career. So keep that in mind as well, because that confidence on the day of the exam, I'm going to pass this today. And when I pass my exam, I'm going to do this. It's going to feel great. Keep that in mind before you do your exam, a little mindfulness, wellness check before you take the exam. It's a very effective strategy. I know for me, when I overcome challenges, it's a very good thing for me to do to help me feel confident and get into the zone. Okay, that's the bonus tips, guys. Hope you enjoyed those tips today. Take them away and maybe put them into practice with this next part of the class. So before we get into the speaking role play, just a reminder that you should know there are two sets of criteria for speaking. Who can tell me what are they? What are the two sets of OET speaking criteria? Throw them into the chat box, please. Show off your OET knowledge to me, please. I'm sure you're going to ace this as you always do, guys. We know our criteria very well, but for anyone who might be even starting their OET preparation, you might not know. Let me know what are the two sets of criteria for OET speaking, please. And I'm looking forward to seeing them. Okay, the comments are coming in. You're letting me know what they are. Got a couple coming in, a few variations of it. Very good, but we've got a nice, good understanding about what they are as a whole. Well done, guys. The two sets of speaking criteria are, as Moges has said, linguistic and clinical communication criteria, guys. Well done. So let's bring them up. Linguistic and clinical communication. All right. So, guys, of course, I recommend that you go in and do your own understanding of this criteria. I'm going to be asking the person who's doing the role play today a few questions to assess their abilities. One, were they able to speak clearly and easy to understand? Did they vary their pronunciation and intonation relevantly? Did they speak fluently and smoothly with few hesitations and false starts as much as possible? Did the speaker use appropriate language and tone? And did the speaker use relevant and correct vocabulary and grammatical structures? So across our fluency, our pronunciation and delivery, across our appropriateness of language, and across our range of grammar and vocabulary. Okay. Then we have the clinical communication criteria. So I'm asking, did you speak in a way that offered empathy and support, which is relationship building? Did they speak to the patient and respond effectively and appropriately, which is involving the patient? Was the delivery of information structured appropriately, aka organization? Did the speaker ask a variety of open and closed questions, so gathering and giving information? And was the patient satisfied with delivery of the information? An overall summary of how was it from me, from my perspective. Okay, guys, so how it's going to work now is first and foremost, take a note of those questions yourselves, especially the clinical communication ones, and think about those for the assessment that is going to be upcoming. So I'm just going to go full screen a second, guys, because what's going to happen now is I'm going to be sending a link into the chat box. Okay, so you'll see a link in the chat box that says StreamYard. That is your opportunity to come into the classroom today to do a speaking role play with me. Okay, so you will see a link soon appear in the chat box wherever you're watching this stream. Click on that link, come into the studio. Hopefully you got a camera, which would be amazing. I like actually speaking to a face. Good internet connection and good audio quality as well. So when you see that link that says StreamYard, click on it, come into the studio, do your tech checks and join. And that'll be your chance to join and do the role play with me. So I'm just going to drop that link in here into the chat box before we begin our preparation phase so everyone can see that. Give me a second. I'm dropping all of these links in. Okay, so they've been dropped into the OET feeds and the Swoosh English feeds for Facebook and YouTube. So let's now get stuck into the preparation phase of this role play. And we now begin. Okay, so here is the speaking role play. So it's a nursing role play today, guys. And as you noticed, the timer has begun. We're going to keep this just like the actual OET speaking sessions. You have 3 minutes of preparation. So get a pen and pad, take down some notes, and begin planning your role play. Have a look at the setting. what the nurse card is asking you to do, and have a look at the 4 task bullet points. How can you emphasize and answer those points there in the session as well? Remember, remain calm, remain collected, practice our speaking fluency tips today. So do your planning, enjoy it, and don't forget to breathe. That's really important today. So I'm now going to give everyone a bit of time to finalize their planning and their preparation for the last 2 minutes, and then we'll get on to doing the actual speaking role play. Good luck, everyone, and enjoy your preparation time. Three, two, and one. All right, guys, and we're back. Quickest 3 minutes of your lives, I'm sure. Hope that you enjoyed your prep and you've taken down some notes. So, regardless of who's doing the session today, guys, I'd like you all to follow along, and of course to enjoy your feedback, give your feedback, and just take notes in terms of how the entire session went today as well, because you'll certainly get benefit from following along, listening how things done, and applying your reflections to the role play into your own practice as well. So I'll bring the screen back up. And we've had a few people join us today. A few have actually gone as well, but we've one person who's still in the wings in the session. So I'm going to give him a chance to come on. If I'm saying it right, Moges, could be Mojes. I'm not sure. You can tell me now. I'm going to now bring you on to the stream in 3, 2, and 1. Hello there. Is it Moges or Mojes?
Yeah.
Let me know, please.
Yeah, Mogus.
Moges, hello. Nice to meet you. How are you today?
Good, good. How about you?
Very well, thanks. It's very nice to have you in this session. Where are you? Where are you from today?
I'm talking from Namibia.
Lovely. Very good. So, have you taken the OET exam yet, or is this your first time?
No, it's my first time. I'm planning to take next week, Saturday.
Very good. And are you feeling confident about the exam?
Not really, but yeah, I'm just preparing. Hopefully, I'll try to catch up within the coming 1 week.
Okay, okay. Well, fantastic. And why are you taking the OET exam? What's your dream?
Yeah, recently I just want to go to Australia. I'm a psychiatrist and I'm planning to move to Australia. By the way, I'm taking also this intensive training of Swoosh. I'm part of your program. So yeah, it's just on the process.
Lovely. Well, it's
doctor.
nice having you in this session today as well. Hope you're enjoying your preparation too. And you're moving to Australia. Lovely. The home of OET is Melbourne, Australia, where I spent a bit of time working
Yeah,
for OET as an interlocutor. So, hey, it's a lovely, lovely place. So, let's get stuck into the role play today. It's lovely to meet you, and we'll give you a chance to do some live speaking practice today. So, I'll bring up the role play again on the screen here, Moges.
yeah,
Whenever you are
mm,
ready, I will start the timer for 5 minutes. I'm not going to show that on the screen because I don't want you
mm.
looking at the time. We want you focusing on your delivery. I will keep you focused on in terms of how the time is going. Okay. Do you have any quick questions before we begin?
Yeah, I think I want to know what is the name of the patient, maybe how old is he, maybe?
Yes, good question. Anyone else who's watching as well, you can ask the interlocutor on the day of the exam, how can I call you? They'll just say, call me by my first
Yeah.
name. So you can just call me Scott today, Mogus.
Oh, okay, Scots.
Okay, so whenever you are ready, remember, breathe, practice those
Yeah,
pauses and that fluency. Speak about 70% of the speed you would speak in your native language and enjoy the experience as much as possible. Okay?
yeah, I can do that. Mm,
Okay, so whenever you start, I'll begin the timer.
okay, good. Yeah, I think we can start. We'll learn each other.
Okay,
That will be,
as soon
yeah.
as you start speaking, I'll begin the timer and go for it. Looking forward to doing this with you.
Okay, good morning, Scott.
Hi, good morning, Mogus.
Yeah, good, good. How have you been these days?
Oh, I'm not so bad, thanks. But I'm obviously here to to get some help from you. So thanks for seeing me.
Okay, yeah, no, it's good. No, I just came here to just to orient you on some of your treatment. So I think
Hmm.
as we can see, your sugar was somehow controlled for long, but recently I think the sugar is not well controlled. It's getting a bit high. With that means I think with your oral medications, probably it's not well controlled. I think the doctor is decided to put you on injections. And how do you feel maybe taking injections, or if we shift you from oral medication to injections, how do you feel?
It's a good question. I am quite nervous about taking injections. I just don't really know what to do here. So I think I've been managing my diabetes quite well. And I'm just wondering, do I need to take the injections or can I not just keep doing the oral medications, which will be easier for me?
Yeah, I understand your concern. It's true. When we try to shift the patient from tablets or to injections, every time they feel a bit concerned, they become a bit nervous. I understand your concern. I think it is
Mhm.
a valid point. But I think you must also understand normally patients, they will be started with oral medicine first, but with time, usually the oral medicine they might not control. This is common everywhere. So the
Mm.
oral might not control. So in your case also, when we see the pattern, the trend of your blood glucose, it seems the oral medication is not controlling you. So we need to shift you to injections. So without injections, probably your sugar might not be controlled with oral medicine. So we need to shift you. I understand it's really a bit uncomfortable. You might worry about the procedures and how you're going to get, and injections by itself. Generally, everyone will not be comfortable. I understand that, but it is really necessary for you so that your blood sugar can be controlled well.
Hmm. Okay.
Is that clear to you?
Yes, I like to have more. confidence in how to do these injections that might be able to help me with this.
Yeah, no, I will show you how you're going to do it, and we are here really to help you, to assist you. We'll give you more times until you become more comfortable. And then when we feel that you are more comfortable, you are familiar with the procedure, that's where we're going to really give a chance for you to administer the injection by yourself. So we are here to help you. You should not worry. You have to relax.
Okay.
Is that fine to you?
Thank you. Yes, that's great.
Okay. Do you? Yeah, I think the other thing what we need to now is after you inject, you need to know how to really dispose the needles. Because sometimes if you are left unattended the needle, other people they might get injured, the children they might get it. So we'll train you also how to self
Mhm.
dispose the injections. So I'll
Okay.
show you also that.
Please, yes, that would be
Maybe,
great.
yeah, yeah. Maybe would you mind if I ask you if you have any questions or anything?
Oh, yes, nurse. I'd like to know maybe if you can show me the process very quickly of how to inject using needles, how to find the appropriate site. I just don't really know what I'm doing, and it makes me feel very worried about having to do this without knowing how to do it. So I'm wondering if you can demonstrate it for me. It would help me settle my nerves about this process, as I'm a bit scared of needles.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that was a very good questions. I think every times you should know that you have to use clean needles, and then the appropriate site to give the injection is usually in the abdomen. We call it
Hmm.
subcutaneously. You should not make it
Yes.
deep in the abdomen. It's under your skin, and so you have to clean the site also. I'll show you how you're going to clean it and how you're going to really take the medicine out from the ampoule.
Okay.
So yeah, every morning and at night you have to take these injections under your skin. And it's not really the first time you might feel a bit anxious, worried, but with time it becomes too familiar to you. There's no way you're going to really fear or afraid much.
Okay, that would help. So you're saying just to use the abdomen, subcutaneous fat, and change
Yes,
sites every
yes.
so often to avoid any injuries and bruises. Would that be
Yes,
correct?
yeah, yes, you are
Okay.
right. Yeah, you need to change your sites
Okay.
every day. Yeah.
That's helpful to
Anything
know.
you like? Anything you like to ask? Maybe.
Okay. Last question I have is I'll try and practice that is what kind of containers do I need to put dispose needles into and how do I care and handle those?
Yeah, I think that's a very good question. Yeah, the container. I think it's good if it is somehow a hard container, if possible metallic container, properly. It should have really proper. A lid, or you need to close it properly.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, and then whenever you are really taking out the needle and so on, you have to be careful so that you'll not really pinprick yourself. You have to be
Okay.
careful. So every times before delay after you inject yourself, you must really be sure you are disposing the needle in that container. And then maybe after sometimes I think you must also not forget to really properly dispose that container too. Maybe if you are left unattended also, maybe the children and others they might get it and they might inject it, so or they might injure themselves.
Okay, that's clear. Thank you
Mm.
very much for that information.
Okay, so any maybe questions, or
That's
everything
everything.
looks
I
clear?
think you've told me that I need to take
Mm.
injections. I understand the importance. I'll start injecting with your advice. That'll hopefully build up my confidence. And thank you for telling me about my need to use these containers and how to dispose of them.
Okay, thank you. Then I will come maybe after 2 weeks or after 1 month, and then we'll discuss whether you are doing it or not. Or if you have any questions, please let me know, or you can call us.
Thank you, Mogus. Thank you very much for your time today.
Okay, fine. See you.
And we'll stop. And you can relax. Well done. How do you
Yes.
feel today doing the role play with me, Mogus?
Yeah, no, I just came in. I haven't planned really how we're going to do it, the role play. And these days I'm busy more on listening and reading
Yeah.
session. I was planning to see the speaking maybe after some times, since the speaking exam comes after the others. So
Yes,
I
it
was
is
not well
important.
prepared, but I just want to experience actually because I may not get this chance.
Well done. Thank you very much for taking part and enjoying your
Mm,
preparation and your wise as well. Make sure you're preparing across the field, not just focusing on one skill, but realizing the skills that you need more work on. I'm sure our courses
mm.
has helped you with that. So, guys, let us know in the chat box before I get into some feedback with Mogus how give him some words of encouragement. Tell him well done and how he got on because he just delivered that in front of hundreds of people online. Impressive. So let's just go through some feedback with you, Mogus. First and foremost, linguistic criteria. Did
Yeah.
you speak in a way that was clear and easy to understand? Yes, I think you did. Just maybe raise your volume a bit. Sometimes when we're speaking quite low, our voice kind of goes a bit like this. And that happened a couple of times. And that should be fine in the speaking in the section, but you don't want to give the examiner any doubt in terms of what you're saying. So project your voice a bit more and be confident in what you are saying. Did you vary your pronunciation, intonation relevantly? There were a few very minor pronunciation errors, but nothing that made me go, I have no idea what he is saying. I knew exactly what you were saying. And your intonation was also quite relevant too. It flowed up and down as relevant. So that was good. Did you speak in a way that was fluent with few hesitations and false starts? There were a few ims and as there, nothing major at all. So well done for being a fluent speaker as a whole and controlling your rate of speech as well. So I think you did very well with that. Did you use appropriate language and tone? I thought so. The balance for being a healthcare practitioner is being certainly medical, but communicating that a way to the average person understands as well. So being understandable, I think you got a nice mix of layman's terms and casual speech mixed with the appropriate tone for being a healthcare professional. So well done. And finally, did you speak using relevant and correct vocabulary and grammatical structures? I didn't have any major errors. There might have been one tense error I picked up on. It's not going to make a big difference because I think the communication was appropriate. So well done. Overall, linguistically, you're doing super strong for your OET exams. So keep them sharp, keep them practice, but you're doing really well for your linguistic criteria. Moving on to the clinical communication criteria. So, did you speak in a way that offered empathy and support? I think you did at the start. Whenever I talked about my anxiety of taking injections instead of taking orals medication, you were saying, I understand your concern. Do not worry. All this was really nice to reassure me. But then when I talked about the needle injections in my abdomen, you didn't use the same degree of showing empathy. So just keep that in mind at all times. Whenever a patient expresses a concern for you, OET want to show that you were demonstrating empathy throughout the role play and using phrases like, let me reassure you, it's all going to be okay. I understand how you feel, etc., etc. So keep that going throughout the role play. Okay. Empathy throughout. Two, did you speak to the patient in a way that offered effective and appropriate responses? I think you did. I think that you listened to what I had to said and dealt with it as well as you can. I'm going to skip my feedback from that and put it into another section in the role play because I've got one thing I really want to put across to you today that would help your role play as a whole. And that is point 3. Was the delivery of information structured appropriately? That was the one thing that you could have worked on for this role play was your delivery of the role play. So if I actually scroll back to the card here, it should have flowed. Find out how the patient feels about insulin injections, talk about the injection site, reassure the patient that they can manage, and then talk about the importance of safe needle disposal. You talked about point 1. You kind of glossed over point 2, went straight to point 4, and then asked any questions. I then had to go back to point 2 and say, can I have some advice about how to administer objections? Can you tell me a bit more about safe needle disposal? Okay. So it's up to you as a healthcare professional to take control of the role play and introduce those points, rather than the patient having to structure it for you. The patient should be following along with your structure of the role play. So make sure that you do go through the 4 bullet points in order and you segue into them. So for example, I understand that you feel bad about the insulin injections, but let me reassure you by explaining the process of delivering the injection. How would that be to you? Great. Okay. Well, let's explain. How do you feel about that process? Do you feel more reassured? That's a segue into point 3 and then to point 4. Okay, let's finish off. Maybe talk about how we can dispose of the needles appropriately. How would that be for you? Segue into point 4. Now we finished. Do you have any questions about any of those processes? So think about your organization and delivery of your role play as a whole. Flow through them one-to-one and use those discourse markers effectively throughout the section of the role play. Now, I'm sure that might have happened today because you're in an online environment. Maybe you didn't have the full 3 minutes to prepare. That can happen, but I just want to reassure you that you need to use those bullet points and segue and transition between them more effectively for the role play on the day. Point 4, did you ask a variety of open and closed questions? You could have asked probably a few more questions that are open to get me involved and tell me where the role play is going. Like, shall we move on to this? Can we speak about X? I'd now like to speak about Y, etc., just for your structure. But your closed questions were good. Your reassuring questions. How is that for you? Is it okay for you? How do you feel about this? They were good. Ask them every time a point is coming to the close. Now, was I satisfied with delivery of information? Well, if you were my nurse, Moguez, I'm like, oh, wow, he communicates really well. He's friendly. He's nice. He's reassuring. He has the advice there. So I would have been happy, even though I had to get involved and find out more information from you. But it was good. 2 takeaways I have from you today, the main takeaways are your organization and your flow of your role play. And secondly, your time management as well. Do you know how long the role play was today?
Maybe 3.5 minutes. I don't think I have finished the 5 minutes.
It was 8 minutes in total.
Oh, it
the
was
role
18
play.
minutes.
8 minutes,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
we got to get that down to around about 5 minutes, okay?
Yeah.
Now, the one area that would have helped you with that was if we actually kind of go back to the card here, and then point task number 1, when you ask me, how do you feel about the insulin injections? And then I give you my answer. You spoke about that for 2 minutes. I was timing you. You spoke about it for 2 minutes. So, and you did also. Go ahead.
I think I was repeating some phrases I remember. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good self-awareness. You were repeating yourself a few times. So we got to find a way to be concise with that. You know, answer the question, understand how they feel, give your reason, reassure them again, ask, can we move on? All in about 30, 45 seconds, depending on how many bullet points there are. So you could have made that about 40% of the length, said it all once, and then moved on. Okay. So be aware about how long we're talking about a certain point for in your preparation. Okay. Because those 2 things, if you got a handle on those, you would have probably passed, in my opinion. I can't give you a score today because I'm not scoring, but I can just say in terms of everything else, if your delivery was really good and your organization was good and your time management was good, it would have been a really good role play. So that's my main feedback for you. Time management, organization of your role play. The 2 takeaways I have from you today. Okay. And how is that for you? Is that suitable feedback?
No, I think
for
it was.
you?
It was a very excellent feedback. I really like it. I think one of the gap was I was not having a recent reading or recent rehearsal on my speaking. That is the gap I can see from my side. But I think I learn a lot actually. I think practicing it makes really people perfect. I think that's nice. And you gave me, I know the gap really by myself. Even before you gave me, and you gave me also right feedback. It was very excellent. Thank you really, and I encourage others also to do this kind of. I think role play. They will improve really. Thank you.
Certainly. Well, you're very welcome. I'm very happy to make a few things basically motivate you to believe what you're strong in today. And I've given you a lot of good feedback, and I've helped you identify the areas that I want you to work on. And those two areas are the key areas that I would work on for that next role play: your time management and your organization and flow of the role play. Okay. So
Yes,
thank you
perfect.
very much for joining me today. I wish you the best of luck for your OET exam next week. And thanks again for also choosing Swoosh English for your preparation. But well done. You're doing really good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the session. And nice meeting you, Moges. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, guys, and that was Moges. I hope that you enjoyed the session that we had with him today. And throw us some comments, throw us some feedback into the chat box, as well as some of you have been doing. Think about how your own role play would have gone in relation to that. Would you have suffered from the same errors that were made? Would you have had the same strengths? Reflect upon your own role play practice it would have done. Write down a few notes on a pad or send the comments into the chat box. We're looking forward to seeing them. And of course, if you did enjoy the session today, make sure you give us a like, follow us on our social media channels as well to get more tips and tricks, which we post daily on OET preparation and more. We love having more people follow us and get that superb advice. So, guys, let's wrap up the session today with a few bits and pieces. First of all, we're going to review the importance of what we learned today. The first thing is make sure you get that role play off to a great start. Feel confident and calm from the beginning. As we also said, practice speaking at an appropriate speed, not too fast and not too slow for confidence and delivery of information. Make sure that if you do correct an error, you do it quickly, but if you can't, move on. It's more important to maintain that rate of speech. Fourthly, discourse markers are really effective for your own organization and ensuring that you flow throughout the role play too. So learn them and use them appropriately. Point number 5 is the power is in the pause, especially at the end of a sentence or segueing into a new point, or in the middle of a sentence to place emphasis on a key note that you want to actually give. It will also make you feel more confident. So utilize that pause when you are speaking. And on to some of the bonus tips. Start your preparation well on it in advance of your exam to give you the best chance possible of passing the first or the next time. Get expert feedback on your speaking. Speak back. See, even I make mistakes sometimes, guys. We're all human. Get expert feedback on your speaking, like Moges did today. As when you're using your productive skills and speaking and writing, you need to ensure that you're actually producing the speech and the writing and your English at a high enough level before you do your exam. As Moges said, practice makes perfect. Get feedback, implement the feedback, put it into practice, do another assessment, get feedback, put it into practice, rinse and repeat until you are ready for your exam. And finally, just a little bit of confidence to finish off the day today is make sure you believe in yourself and your abilities to pass the exam, because everyone in this session today is capable of passing this exam. Everybody. This is not a test on intelligence, because if it is, you would all pass with flying colors. You're all super intelligent people, but it's more of an ability to overcome a challenge and apply your skills, like learning how to ride a bike or learning how to climb a mountain or even sending a rocket to the moon, whatever it is. There's the goal at the end, and there's the step-by-step processes we have to take to overcoming that challenge. OET is no different. So believe in yourself that you can do it, and then ensure you are doing what you need to do it at the end. I assure you, you will find success that way. Just to wrap up today, guys, as mentioned at the very start of the session today, is aside from doing these all-star sessions every month, we're running right now another free OET Masterclass every Friday at 11 a.m. UK time. If you can attend at that time, that's fantastic. But if not, we run them via recordings at other times as well. So if you're looking for more tips on speaking, reading, writing, and listening, preparation advice, etc., with me and the OET teaching team at Swoosh English, then make sure that you join us for the next masterclass. There's actually one in an hour's time, just so you know. You can jump along into that. But make sure you register to take advice of our free sessions every single Friday. To do that, all you have to do is do one of two things. Either you click on the link that will appear in the chat box. I am dropping these in now, guys. Okay, there is a link appearing in the chat boxes on Facebook, YouTube, on the OET channel, or the Swoosh English channels. So click on that link, go to the page, input your details, sign up and register. We'll then keep you informed about when the next session is, etc. as well. Or get your phone out and get your QR barcode reader out as well, and simply scan that button there with your QR code, click on the link, and that will then take you to the appropriate page to get signed up and begin your preparation. So once again, either click on the link that's appeared in the chat box or get your phone out, scan that reader there on the screen. It will take you to the page. Sign up via the registration page, and when you're in, you're in. You'll get reminders about when the class is, the recordings of the classes, and be reminded about when the next one is, plus lots of other free goodies from us at Swoosh English. Just a reminder that it is completely free to join these sessions. So why not give me 45 minutes of your day if you enjoyed today and come to another free session, and I will see you there in that session. Okay, guys, a few more seconds. I'll leave it up on the screen to scan that QR code, but click the link in the chat box as well to join us too. All right. So, guys, thank you so much for joining the session today. It's been a pleasure having you. Thanks for also being so interactive, sending your comments at me as well. And thanks a lot for taking part in this session today. Hopefully, you've gone away with more advice on how to speak as fluently as you can in your speaking feedback, and you've got ideas now to improve your own fluency in your own dedicated practice that you will do. So the doors are always open at Swoosh English. If you're looking to take your preparation to the next level, we will see you there. If not, well, good luck with whatever preparation courses that you are doing. I wish you the best in your OET preparation journey. So guys, thanks a lot. Have a great one. We'll see you for the next OET All-Star session in a month's time. Or hopefully I'll see you in the free masterclasses that we run at Swoosh English every week. Take care, have a good one, and bye-bye.